Hello, my name is Ansel Quiliban and I'll be talking about the introduction of the presentation.
My name is Zyxel Avila and I will be discussing the history of water resources engineering.
Hi, my name is Lordlewis Orville Villaflor, and I'm going to talk about what is water resources engineering all about.
This is Matthew Dela Pena, and I will discuss to you the important skills a water resource engineer must have.
My name is Karl Ornopia, and I'm going to discuss on why water resource engineering is important.
Greetings, my name is Michael Dave J. Bolandres, and I'll be tackling to you about the future career potentials and projects for water resources engineering.
Hi, I am Georgina Ybanez and I will be summarizing the entire discussion about water resources engineering.
Greetings, our topic for today is about the water resources engineering. The introduction. Water. There is water everywhere. It is a natural resource that is found in almost every corner of the world. Water makes up 71% of the earth. There are different forms of water, like waterfalls and rivers. And you might think to yourself, how can we make use of these natural resources? How can an engineer make use of this? This is the question we are tackling today. And in our presentation, we'll be talking about water resources engineering. And in that topic, we'll be talking about the history and what is water resources engineering all about. And we'll also give the examples of water resources engineering projects. And also, we will tell you about the importance of water resources engineering.
To Ansel for the introduction for the water resources engineering, let us proceed. But before we proceed to the main topic, let us first tackle upon the history, a brief history of water resources engineering. So, during the ancient times, the ancient Romans first built the aqueducts. So, what is an aqueduct? Aqueduct conducts water stream from a different place to another by using gravity as a pushing force to supply water from the different parts or cities in Rome. So this is widely regarded as one of the best and amazing features of Roman engineering at that time. Next are the canals. Canals are used for irrigation, for agricultural purposes, and also to supply water to the different parts of Mesopotamia. So the first canals were built in Mesopotamia by the ancient Mesopotamians. Third is the Archimedes screw. So Archimedes screw or the water screw is used to supply water from a low level to a high level in order to supply water by just turning the screw and thus supplying water such for irrigation, for aqueducts, and whatsoever. So, as Filipinos, we also have our history of an example of a water resource says engineering. So, the Banawe rice terraces made by the Ifugao people is can be considered as a water resource engineering due to the fact that due to its staircase like structure, and thus when the staircase becomes full, it passes onto the other, and so on and so forth.
Civil engineering is a very broad field of engineering. It has a wide range of branches. These branches include geodetic engineering, geotechnical engineering, environmental engineering, transportation, construction, and water resources engineering. But today, we're going to talk about a specific branch of civil engineering, which is the water resources engineering. So, the question is, what is water resources engineering all about? So, this field of engineering is a type of civil engineering that entails the development of new systems and technology to aid in the management of human water resources. So, this field is constantly finding better solutions in regulations and maintenance of our precious water resources. So in layman's term, it is a field in engineering that is responsible for anything related to water resources. So what are these water resources? These water resources include water treatment facilities, underground wells, natural springs, and dams.
If you're thinking of being a water resource engineer, here are the skills you might want to consider. This is Matthew Dela Pena, and I'll be the one to talk about it. The first one is management skills, which include time and project management skills. This skill is very vital in being a water resource engineer to check that the projects meet the deadlines. It is also very useful for the engineer's responsibility to monitor the operations and to ensure that the construction and implementations are properly assembled. The budget for projects must also be managed well. Considering the convenience and efficiency of technology, a water resource engineer must also be familiar with information technology. Data and statistics on water facilities and infrastructures can easily be overseen with the aid of technology. Communication skills are very essential in being a water resource engineer to be able to clearly present complex ideas and concepts to co-workers with ease. One must also possess the skill to be able to collaborate with other people. Problem-solving skills are a must in being a water resource engineer. It is significant for engineers to work out various and difficult problems using efficient and systematic procedures. It is also important for a water resource engineer to have analytical skills to be able to analyze and assess complex problems.
Here are the examples of water resources engineering projects. First is the Lower Agusan Development Project, which can be found in Agusan del Norte, Philippines. Utilization and control of the Agusan River through flood mitigation and irrigation works. Flood control works involve a river floodway, levees, flood walls, and bridges viaducts. Irrigation works for 8,500 has involved 2 pumping plants, mains and laterals, canal structures, and roads. For our next example is the Pampanga Delta Development Project, which can be found in Pampanga, Philippines. The Pampanga River swells during rainy season. To prevent flooding of the nearby areas, the river was cut at certain locations and provided with gates. The water that was then impounded will be used to irrigate lands with a net irrigation service area of 10,270 has passed through the diversion weirs. For our third example is the Agno River Basin Flood Control Study, which can be found in western part of Central Luzon, Philippines. A comprehensive study to establish adequate measures for flood control in the Agno River system and its allied rivers, namely Poporto Floodway, Tarlac River, Camiling River, Banila River, Vide de Pala River, Ambayuan River, Panto River, and Kayanga River. An inventory of damaged structures such as earth dikes, walls and tows, riverbank slide, revetment, floodgates, intake facilities, bridges, and water level gauging stations, which was conducted for future improvement and upgrading. For our next example is the water impounding management nationwide Philippines. Review of feasibility and detailed design of about 50 small-scale irrigation projects for mini hydropower generation, fish culture, water supply, and recreation projects. The selected impounding reservoir, located all over the country, consists of earth-filled dam with 30 meters height and 500 cubic meters water storage. Lastly is the Bulacan Bulk Water Supply, which can be found in Bulacan, Philippines. The project is aimed at augmenting the water supply for the municipalities of Maykawayan, Giginto, and Obando. The project features the development of new water sources with the construction of 12 tubular wells along the Angat River. So that's it for the examples of water resources engineering projects.
Water resources engineering. So the importance of water resources engineering is the importance of water. So as humans, we all know how important water is for our body and for us to stay healthy. And we also know that crops, plants, and animals need water in order for them to grow and survive. So in other words, our food needs water in order to grow. One of the most important things that water resources engineering do is to control water management. Water management is ensuring the safety of water through its purity and cleanliness for humans, plants, and animals. Water management ensures that our water is pure from all chemical substances that could harm us. And these chemical substances could come from industrial waste, it could come from waste of our bowel disposal and many things. And that is why water management is super important, because it keeps our water clean for everyday use and for the use of future times and generations.
There are several career paths that water resource engineers could take up, but I'm only going to be discussing two, for example. The first is consultant. Experienced water resource engineers may go into consultancy work or progress to senior roles within water companies, regulatory bodies, and other organizations. Next is wastewater engineering. As its title implies, engineers in this department are responsible for performing activities that can more effectively manage or safely transport water that is no longer usable. This may involve wastewater treatment and detecting the degree to which water is polluted via remote sensing. Wastewater engineers may also provide insight to government bodies on how to better clean or channel their wastewater away from sources like rivers and estuaries so that they don't become contaminated. And the only project that I included in this presentation, because it is very relevant to this day, is the United Nations COP21 that took place in Paris that has complications for water resources engineers which are significant. Achieving the UN aim of keeping global warming below 2 Celsius will require large-scale international collaboration, and building climate resilience into our water infrastructure will require similar collaborations, research and investigation, and innovation within the industry, which means that water resource engineers will play a fundamental role in developing the plans for new infrastructure and taking them through the planning and approval stages, the procurement, construction, commissioning, and operation, in order for us to be able to withstand the effects of climate change. And that will be all. Thank you.
To sum everything all up, water resources engineering is a branch of civil engineering which is responsible for anything related to water resources. Basically, it helps or contributes to the production of new systems, equipments, or technology, which helps in the management of human water resources. Projects such as the BBWSP or the Bulacan Bulk Water Supply have helped their citizens in the reduction of the groundwater extraction and the usage of deep wells, since these actions have adverse environmental impacts. With this, the water on our environment is being saved. So again, the reason as to why we must manage the usage of water is because water is one of the basic needs of humans and animals. If we manage our water resource well, the entire community and society will benefit. Water conservation enables water to be moved from areas of excess to areas of drought, provided there is a distribution channel that can be connected amongst the areas from the source to the need. Water as a freshwater resource is in dire shortage, and better local water use, particularly in agriculture, can result in huge water conservation.